And news just coming in of massive protests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. These protests are in Muzaffarabad in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, where the locals are hitting out at the Imran Khan government and at China. The locals in Muzaffarabad in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir are opposed to a number of dams that are being constructed in POK in Muzaffarabad, and dams that are being constructed not just on the Indus River but also on the Jhelum and other rivers in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Watch these images as slogans were raised against Imran Khan, slogans were raised against China. This is a big setback for Imran Khan and for Pakistan and China. Remember, this dam, $1.54 billion, have already been sponsored by China. But listen in to protests and reactions from on ground in Muzaffarabad.
ये जो मुजाहरा हुआ है मशल बरदार मुजफ्फराबाद में, ये कोई पहले मुजाहरा नहीं है। मुजाहरे तो एक तवील अरसे से हो रहे हैं, लेकिन उनकी सुनवाई नहीं हो रही। ये जो चाइना की 3 गॉर्जियस कॉरपोरेशन है, इसके साथ मिलकर ये बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स का प्रोजेक्ट है, और इसकी वजह से उन्होंने दरियाओं के रास्ते चेंज कर दिए, जिसकी वजह से नंबर 1 मुजफ्फराबाद का और इर्द गिर्द के जो इलाके हैं उनका जो दर्जा हरारत है, टेम्परेचर है, वो बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है और शदीद गर्मी पैदा हो गई है वहाँ। दूसरा ये है कि वो जो दरिया थे वो नाले बन गए हैं।
दरिया नाले बन गए हैं. That's what people in Pakistan occupied Kashmir are protesting. The rivers have become drains, and this is advantage people in Pakistan's Punjab province and people downstream, but not those who are in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. I now want to shift focus to the other big story. The confessions of a terrorist that have completely exposed the Pakistan army and the Pakistan deep state. Let's now talk about what's happening in Pakistan, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Ehsanullah Ehsan of the Taliban was in Pakistan Army's custody after the Pakistan Army Public School Peshawar massacre, in which 150 people, including children, Pakistan Army children, were massacred. Now this terrorist confesses that Pakistan's deep state, that's the Pakistan Army and the ISI, they let him off despite killing army children, directing him to create a death squad to eliminate those who are considered hostile to the Pakistan Army and the ISI in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, especially the Pashtuns.
October 2012, Malala Yousafzai attacked by the Taliban. December 2014, heavily armed Taliban fighters attack an army-run school in Peshawar, killing 150 people, of whom 134 were students. November 2014, suicide bombing at the Wagah border, 60 killed, 100 injured, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan behind the attack. The dreaded Taliban has killed over 20,000 people in suicide bombings, IED blasts and other attacks in Pakistan. On the one hand, Islamabad claims that it is at war with the Taliban, but covertly, it's sleeping with the so-called enemy. India Today has accessed a chilling confession of a terrorist that reveals how the ISI gave Taliban a hit list and how the deep state hires the Taliban to kill journalists and others who question the Pakistani government. Ehsanullah Ehsan, a top leader of the Pakistani Taliban, who's now turned rogue and is revealing the unspoken truth. His confessions have sent shockwaves across Pakistan.
वो ये था कि मुझे कहा गया कि आप एक डेथ स्क्वाड को लीड करें, और ये डेथ स्क्वाड टीटीपी के साबिका मेंबरान जो हुकूमत को सरेंडर कर चुके हैं या उन अपराध पर मुश्तमिल होगा जो पाकिस्तान के हिमायत याफ्ता जिहादी तंजीमों से वाबस्ता रह चुके हैं। उन्होंने हमें कहा कि हम आपको पेशावर, मर्दान और क्वेटा में खुफिया दफातर बनाकर देते हैं और आप गद्दारों और मुल्क दुश्मनों के खिलाफ काम शुरू कर दें। जो लिस्ट मुझे दिया गया था उसमें ज़्यादातर अपराध का ताल्लुक खैबर पख्तूनख्वा से था, और वो सब पश्तून थे, जिसमें ज़िंदगी के हर शोबे से ताल्लुक़ रखने वाले अपराध के नाम थे, जिनमें कुछ सहाबी हज़रात के नाम भी शामिल थे।
Ehsanullah is no ordinary Taliban terrorist, but a high-ranking commander. Listen carefully to how he spills the beans on Prime Minister Imran Khan.
मेरे फरार के बाद MI ने मेरे रिश्तेदारों को मुख्तलिफ मकामात से गिरफ्तार किया, जिनमें मेरे वालिद साहब, 3 भाई, मेरे चचा, कज़न्स, मामू, दोस्त शामिल थे, जो उस दिन से मेरे रिश्तेदार होने के जुर्म में उनकी कैद में है। वज़ीर आज़म को मैंने ख़त लिखा था, मगर उनकी तरफ से जवाब नहीं आया। मेरे ख्याल में उनको जवाब देने की इजाज़त नहीं मिली होगी, इसलिए उन्होंने जवाब देना मुनासिब नहीं समझा।
The terrorist revelations have made public what everyone has always suspected, that the Pakistan government and the terror network are two sides of the exact same coin. What comes as a shocker is that the Pakistan government not only harbors terrorists, for which it's facing a blacklisting by the Financial Action Task Force, but also uses them to silence its critics. With Gaurav Sawant in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
It's now clear that the Pakistan establishment wants to silence all critics and even stoop to a level of using terrorists to eliminate dissenting voices, dissenting Pakistani voices. A group of 30 women journalists have now hit out at the Imran Khan government for selectively targeting them in an attempt to intimidate them and silence them.
Economy in shambles, global isolation, and a raging pandemic have left Pakistan bruised and battered. But Imran Khan is unleashing his frustration on journalists who are critical of the ruling Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf leadership. More than 30 women journalists have issued a strongly worded statement condemning the harsh conditions in which they are forced to operate in Pakistan. In a joint statement, they said personal details of women journalists and analysts had been made public in a coordinated campaign by the Imran Khan government.
All this organized trolling and constant abuse and bullying affects our work. So our concerns are professional. We are constantly wary of what we say. We are being prevented from exercising our right to free speech. In some instances, our access is also blocked. So obviously it affects our work.
Women journalists are instigated by government officials and then hounded by a large number of Twitter accounts, many affiliated to Imran Khan's party. Leading voices in Pakistan are now openly speaking out on how female journalists are targeted with sexual slurs and baseless allegations. There have also been multiple reports of pictures and other personal information of female journalists being accessed and spread online, endangering their safety.
सोशल मीडिया पर एक टॉप ट्रेंड देखा गया एंड आई बिकेम पार्ट ऑफ दैट बिकॉज मैं डायरेक्टली अफेक्ट हो रही थी और डायरेक्टली फील कर पा रही थी उस पेन को जो उस टॉप ट्रेंड के पीछे थी. ऐसे ट्रोल्स आ जाते हैं जो आपको पता लग रहा होता है कि वो ट्रोल्स हैं. लाइक इफ यू क्लिक ऑन देयर प्रोफाइल दे वोंट हैव एनी फॉलोअर्स एट ऑल, दे वोंट हैव एनी पोस्ट, लेकिन आपकी पोस्ट पर आकर वो गालियां देना अपना फर्ज समझते.
A fortnight ago, senior Pakistani journalist Matiullah Jan, known for his criticism of the country's powerful institutions, was abducted in Islamabad by unidentified persons. He returned unharmed, but the abduction sparked a debate on press freedom.
Not just the civil society, now we see journalists come out against Pakistan. Women in media have written about atrocities and abuse of power by the federal government of Pakistan. A stand needs to be taken by the Pakistani administration on whether if it will allow free speech and freedom of press or not. In New Delhi, Geeta Mohan for India Today.
Let's quickly shift focus to the other big story we're tracking here on India First. It was a well thought out, pre-planned conspiracy to burn Bengaluru on Tuesday night. That is what the Karnataka police believe. They've mentioned this in the FIR into the riots and the mob violence. India Today has accessed the FIR. This has some sensational details. Not only does it name 5 members of the Social Democratic Party of India, the SDPI, the political wing of the controversial Islamic organization, the Popular Front of India, it also names its district secretary, Muzammil Pasha, who's now been taken into custody. It details how a riotous mob was actually out to kill policemen.
Kill the policemen. don't spare them. On the night of 11th August, as a violent mob went on rampage in East Bengaluru, this was the call given by the rioters. The police FIR in the violence of Tuesday night has made this and several other shocking revelations. The riot FIR accessed by India Today reveals that the arson and vandalism was pre-planned. According to the police, 5 people from SDPI, including District Secretary Muzammil Pasha, Arfan, Saeed Manzoor, Ayaz and Allah Baksh, took to the streets with close to 300 people in the DJ Halli area. They were armed with machetes, clubs and rods and attacked the police station. The FIR says that rioters pelted stones at the station. They then forced entry into the police station from the basement, broke doors and windows with the intent to murder the cops. The mob then went on to burn vehicles parked outside the DJ Halli and KJ Halli police stations. The police claim that when they tried to bring the violence under control by firing shots in the air, the 5 accused, including SDPI's Muzammil Pasha, tried to snatch guns from the KSRP platoons. They were arrested and the situation brought under control after nearly 3 hours, with the police firing more rounds.
ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಆಳವಾಗಿ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತನಿಖೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಹಲವಾರು ಜನ ಅವರ ಪದಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು SDPI ಪದಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬಂಧಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಮುಜಮ್ಮಲ್ ಪಾಷಾ ಅವನು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ SDPI ಇವನೇ ಮೇನು. ಫಿರೋಜ್ SDPI ಅವನು, ಅಫ್ರೋಜ್ ಪಾಷಾ, ಶೇಖ್ ಅದಿಲ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ SDPI ಆದವರು.
The police FIR makes one thing clear, that the plan to set Bengaluru on fire was well thought out and that PFI's political affiliate SDPI was involved. Bureau Report, India Today.
The Karnataka government has read out the Riot Act to these rioters, and literally the government has decided that it will recover cost of damage to property from the property of the rioters. Now, this move was first announced by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who decided to make Anti-Citizenship Amendment Act protesters pay for damages for violence in Uttar Pradesh. The Karnataka government too has said that they will ensure that this is done. This, of course, has led to an intense debate in the state.
The heart of Bengaluru descended into an absolute mayhem last Tuesday night. Urged by an allegedly derogatory Facebook post, a mob went on the rampage, vandalizing a police station, setting a Congress MLA's house on fire and torching vehicles. The Karnataka government has now decided to go the Yogi way, vowing strict action against rioters and making them pay for the damages.
The Supreme Court direction to all the states, in the case of rioting, any public property damage should be recovered by the persons who have done it. That action we are going to take immediately. We are identifying the person and we are assessing the losses, and we will see that properties are recovered by the very persons who are rioting.
The people who are responsible will be taking strongest possible action against them, so that this kind of incident never in the history of Bengaluru, it should repeat.
The Social Democratic Party of India, accused of fomenting riots, has lashed out at the state government. The political outfit of the hardline Popular Front of India allege they are being victimized.
Yes, state government is trying to divert the main issue, the sentiments of the people which has been hurt, which has not been highlighted. We have been a scapegoat between Congress and BJP. We want a fair trial between this. That is our demand.
In December last year, when protests against Citizenship Amendment Act rocked several parts of Uttar Pradesh, the Yogi Adityanath government had served notices to over 300 people, threatening to attach their properties in lieu of damages incurred.
The drive to collect damages from rioters is not an easy task. A similar task in UP faced a roadblock when the people who were the suspects arrested in the case turned out to be innocent. Legal experts say that only after a person is convicted by a court of law can the process be continued. With VJ Madhu, this is Karthik for India Today.
Breaking news coming in. There's another twist in the Sushant Singh Rajput death investigations, and now a new video has surfaced, and this video is extremely interesting. It shows Sushant Singh Rajput's sister Priyanka, brother-in-law Siddharth getting extremely unhappy with one of Sushant Singh Rajput's employees. Now, Siddharth is the brother-in-law, Priyanka is the sister. They were apparently getting very angry with one of the employees who worked for Sushant Singh Rajput called Rajat Mewati. Now, Rajat Mewati apparently used to handle finances, but there was some issue with the finances. Let's listen into this video. I'll get you much more on this big story breaking here on India First.
नाम बोलो पैसे ट्रांसफर हुए नाम बोलो पैसे ट्रांसफर हुए आज पैसे ट्रांसफर हुए पंकज को जिसको हमने निकाला था नाम बोलो नाम 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 जल्दी 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 2 मिनट के अंदर नाम अपना नाम लो किसी और का नाम लो जल्दी 2 मिनट जल्दी नाम लो नाम इसके अलावा कुछ नाम सिर्फ नाम और कुछ नहीं मैं जाने नहीं दूंगा बाहर पाएगा और यहाँ अरे मैं पुलिस बुला रही तुम बात क्या कर रहे हो वैसे भी नहीं जाने दूंगा इसको बाहर और जो मैं कर सकता हूँ तुम अभी तुम्हें अंदाजा भी नहीं है तुझे अंदाजा भी नहीं है जो मैं कर सकता हूँ एक बॉलीवुड स्टार के घर में तू आके ये सोच रहा है नहीं सुप्रीम कोर्ट लॉयर के सामने तू ये सोच रहा है और तू कह रहा है नहीं क्या बोल रहा है तू अपने ही बोल क्या नाम बोलो नाम बोलो नाम बोलो पैसे ट्रांसफर हुए नाम बोलो पैसे ट्रांसफर हुए आज पैसे ट्रांसफर हुए पंकज को जिसको हमने निकाला था नाम बोलो नाम 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 जल्दी 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 2 मिनट के अंदर नाम अपना नाम लो किसी और का नाम लो जल्दी 2 मिनट जल्दी नाम लो नाम इसके अलावा कुछ नाम सिर्फ नाम और कुछ नहीं मैं जाने नहीं दूंगा बाहर पाएगा और यहाँ अरे मैं पुलिस बुला रही तुम बात क्या कर रहे हो वैसे भी नहीं जाने दूंगा इसको बाहर और जो मैं कर सकता हूँ तुम अभी तुम्हें अंदाजा भी नहीं है तुझे अंदाजा भी नहीं है जो मैं कर सकता हूँ एक बॉलीवुड स्टार के घर में तू आके ये सोच रहा है नहीं सुप्रीम कोर्ट लॉयर के सामने तू ये सोच रहा है और तू कह रहा है नहीं क्या बोल रहा है तू अपने ही बोल क्या
I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Divyesh, who's accessed this video exclusively for India Today. So Divyesh, this is Priyanka, the sister, the brother-in-law getting extremely angry with one of the employees, Mewati. There's another employee, Samuel Miranda. How does this all fit into the current controversy?
Gaurav, this video, according to our sources, has been recorded in April 2019, and it was in the same period that Rajat Mewati was sacked by Priyanka and her husband Siddharth Tanwar over some alleged transfer that had happened to an ex-employee reportedly from Sushant's account. And then they interviewed Samuel Miranda the same day, and Samuel Miranda was hired. Remember, Samuel Miranda, the family has been claiming that was hired by Riya Chakrabarti, and he was working on orders of Riya Chakrabarti. But our sources tell us that Samuel Miranda was hired, in fact interviewed by Priyanka, and then hired for Sushant's service in place of Rajat Mewati. He used to handle all the accounts and finances. Remember, Samuel Miranda has been named as accused in the Patna FIR, in the CBI FIR, and then in the Enforcement Directorate's ECIR as well. So we are not drawing any conclusions, but according to our sources, this also hints at that Samuel Miranda was in fact hired by the family members and not Riya Chakrabarti. That is what our sources are telling us.
Okay, as was initially alleged. That it was Riya Chakrabarti who had hired Samuel Miranda, and there was transfer of funds. Is there clarity who these funds were transferred to and the amount of funds that were transferred from Sushant Singh Rajput's account?
Can you tell us what were you asked in the statement?
जय मैम कुछ तो बताओ क्या किया ईडी ने?
Okay, so multiple rounds of questioning currently underway. Okay, Devesh, bring us the latest. Is there clarity who the money was transferred to? I'll try and reestablish that line with Devesh in just a moment. We will track this story very, very closely, but that is all I have time for on India First this evening. A quick break. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.